finished doing the reading of the Shabbat scriptures, and right now we're going to go into the lesson at hand of the Shabbat. And it's going to be over, we're going to read some of the laws, statutes, and commandments in the Bible, do another review of that, some more laws, statutes, and commandments, to keep it on our mind so we can not be one who stumbles in the law, but for ignorance sake, because a lot of people play the I never knew that. You never knew that because you never read it. But you know what Donald Trump doing, you know what Beyonce doing, you know what Janet Jackson doing, you know what movies coming out, because you read everything but the word of Yah. So, and it's better to be ignorant to the things that's going on in the world than ignorant to the things that are in Yah. So you're prioritizing wrong. So that's what we're going to do. Do a little reading of the law to keep it on our mind. We're going to start in Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4.
Word.
Ibrahim. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments, which I teach you, for to do them that ye may live, and go in and possess the land which Yah of your fathers giveth you. Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you. And right here, we see a lot of that in the world right now. We don't have to go to outside of the church body, quote unquote. We just stay in the side. You got how many denominations? I mean, there's over 100 denominations, and that don't make no sense. Pentecostal not in the Bible. Holiest Church of Holy is not in the Bible. First Church of the Disciples not in the Bible. All these, none of this stuff is in the Bible. So what is this? That's man-made things. They're adding things to the Bible. Yahushua HaMashiach was a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah, and he came down and he taught one thing: the law, statutes, and commandments. And forgiveness and mercy is in the law, statutes, and commandments. So he wasn't even teaching anything new. He was just teaching the law, statutes, and commandments. And it's the people think he taught something new. It's because the Hebrew Israelites and the prophets, a lot of the false prophets, they weren't teaching the law in full. They were excluding grace and mercy. But the only thing Yahushua HaMashiach taught was the law, statutes, and commandments. That's it. So he didn't come to preach no other gospel. He didn't come to preach no denomination. He didn't come to preach nothing. All he says, if you love me, you keep my law, statutes, and commandments, and that's it. He didn't tell you to be anything but what you were. Whatever nation you were, that's your nation. If you was a Hebrew Israelite, you're a Hebrew Israelite that just follow the Most High through Christ. That's it. There's none of these denominations, do this, go this way. That's all of the devil and tricks. And that's why the scripture says right here, ye shall not add unto the words which I command you. And we see that all over the place. Just in this 20 block radius, you got about 20 different denominations. Makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. Neither shall ye diminish aught from it. What they do now? They ain't gonna. That guy across the street gonna cut his grass in a couple hours because he don't keep the Shabbat, but that's a church across the street. And what people teach about the Shabbat, the Shabbat is done away with. They even go forth to say the Shabbat is not done away with. It's on Sunday. That's not in the Bible. But they diminish things that the Most High did not diminish. Just like we read in Matthew chapter 5 today, that he said, I didn't come to change the law. So why are these people changing his law, statutes, and commandments? that ye may keep the commandments of Yah, your Yah, which I command you. Your eyes have seen what Yah did because of Baal-Peor. For all the men that followed Baal-Peor, the El, thy Yah, hath destroyed them from among you. This is right here the saying, Shalom. Man, you should have came early. You could have did a lesson. I'm about what? This is about the ninth one. Okay. All right. So we're in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 3. And just like right now we seeing right here, they saying, because Baal-Peor was telling Moses, hey man, we can do other things, and the Most High destroyed them for trying to guide Zion in another direction outside of his law, statutes, and commandments. They were starting to input their own workings on it, But ye that did cleave unto Yah are alive, every one of you this day. And there's multiple types of death. There's the physical death where you literally die, and there's the spiritual death where you can go places and they just feed you things that are not of Yah, and you spiritually die. That's why you have people in a lot of these places, especially in quote-unquote churches, they've been there for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they ain't never seen no type of miracle, no type of blessing, no type of nothing. They just keep hope alive, and that's not how Yah work. If you don't feel that life in you flowing, Yah not there. And it's something that needs to change in your life, or you need to change the atmosphere that's around you, because the Most High is a power. He shows forth this power. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yah, my El, commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whether you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding. So your wisdom and understanding is the law, statutes, and commandments. A lot of people sometimes rely too much on a feeling. Oh man, I'm just waiting for that moment. I'm just waiting for that feeling. It doesn't need a feeling when he wrote his word down. Most times you just gotta lick your fingers and he already answered it right there. You don't always need this immaculate sign from Yah sometimes when you can just go to chapter and verse. That's your sign. You know what I'm saying? Because the same thing he told you right here is the same thing he's going to come to you in your dreams or whatnot. It's the same thing. Thou shalt not commit adultery. I would have never known that if you didn't come into my dreams. That don't make no sense. So your wisdom is his word. And your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, because what is Zion supposed to be? A light unto the Gentiles. And the Gentiles lack wisdom. Why? Because they lack his law, statutes, and commandments. So Yah set up Zion to be a light unto the world, to give out wisdom. And the Gentiles who are in gross darkness, they're going to be like, wow, what you're doing seems much easier. It doesn't seem as hard. Nobody's asking me to sacrifice my children. Nobody's telling me to cut myself. Somebody yada, yada, yada this. And they're going to say, wow, show me more of this Yah that you worship. Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. And when Zion stopped doing the law, statutes, and commandments, they became a foolish people. They went from a wise people to a foolish people. Why did they go to a foolish people? Because they weren't rehearsing the law, statutes, and commandments. For what nation is there so great, who hath Yah so nigh unto them, as El, our Elohim, is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous, as all this law which I set before you this day? Only take heed to thyself, and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thine heart. See right here, it's not just about knowing them. It's one thing to be married, but it's another thing to have deep love for one another. You can be married to somebody who you don't like. You know what I'm saying? The love has departed. So y'all just roommates. And that's how it is with the law, statutes, and commandments. You know his law, statutes, and commandments, but it's not in your heart. So it's like, I didn't do it today. It's no big deal. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's easily overlooked because there's no love there. No intimacy. Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thine heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons, especially the day that thou stoodest before Yah thy El in Horeb, and when El said unto me, gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me. And we was talking about that fear this in Torah study when the scripture says, when the widow or the fatherless cry unto me because you are afflicting them, I will kill you. It went straight just like that. He said, if the widow or the fatherless cry unto me, I will kill you. And if you don't have the fear of Yah, you're going to be like, I'm going to afflict the childless. The fatherless. I'm going to afflict the widow, etc., etc. And that is going to stir the anger of Yah, and he's going to kill you. You know, a lot of people die because they don't please Yah. You know, it's not that, Satan, that no good Satan. No, it's you, the no good person who is not doing the will of Yah. And people have lost the fear of Yah, that healthy fear, and then they just fall into turmoil because they have no fear of Yah. That's why Yah continues to say, fear me. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of Yah. And ye came near and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire unto the midst of heaven, with darkness, clouds, and thick darkness. And El spake unto you out of the midst of the fire. Ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude, only ye heard a voice. And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments. And he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone. And El commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that ye might do them in the land whether ye go over to possess it. And the law, statutes, and commandments isn't just 10 commandments. That's a separate thing. That's his covenant. And then there's the law, statutes, and whatnot, because there's all type of things about ceremonial law, cleanliness laws, etc., etc. But the 10 commandments are his covenant. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that Yah spake unto you in Horeb, out of the midst of the fire, lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any forge, that the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that filleth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. And if you do some research on this, this is if you put everything that's in here, it's called the Baphomet. If anybody familiar with the Baphomet, it's the winged animal, the fish scales, the serpents in it. You can look it up if you're not familiar with it, but it has all these details in the Baphomet statue. They even, I think about 2 years ago, they went around the country and they built the Baphomet. They had a boy and a girl on each side, and they took it across the country and they displayed it across the country. So this evil is here right now. You know what I'm saying? I know at Detroit, Michigan, they got a lot of inner city people who practice that. They got a dark spirit in that area of Detroit, Michigan. They into a lot of that stuff in the inner cities. You know, you can see them wearing a lot of devilish stuff. You know, I'm talking about going to the projects and people coming out with, so that spirit is here right now. 19, and lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the El thy Yah hath divided unto all nations under the whole earth. But El hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance. And that's what I was talking about last week about the two millennial reigns, about the Gentiles in the millennial reign and the Hebrew Israelites in the millennial reign. Because Hebrew Israelites have a big inheritance that is promised to them, the meek of that of them. So it's a big thing with inheritance. So you don't want to give up your inheritance by sinning willfully. Or in ignorance. That's why you must study to show thyself approved. To be unto him a people of inheritance, as ye are this day. Furthermore, El was angry with me for your sakes, and swore that I should not go over Jordan, and that I should not go into that good land which Yah hath given thee for inheritance. And you got to really think about, when we went to Matthew chapter 5, it says, unless your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees, the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no wise enter into the kingdom. Moses was the meekest man on the planet Earth at this time. Yah boasted and said, I speak to Moses face to face, and by any other prophet I speak in dreams or a vision. So, if he told Moses, you're not going to the promised land because you sinned against me, what will he do to us? We not Moses. We not Moses. We ain't going to do what Moses did. We ain't about to lead a whole bunch of Hebrews out of Egypt, out of bondage. We ain't about to part no Red Seas. We might do some stuff in the future on a smaller level, but not nobody about to do what Moses did. He
led millions.
That's what I'm saying. Moses was somebody. And if Yah held Moses to the same standard, and he told Moses can see the promised land. It's right there. This is what I've been telling y'all. Moses, you can't go. How serious is Yah about us saying, unless your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees and scribes? And most people gonna say he really don't mean that. He don't mean that. I mean, I do my best. He gonna let me in heaven. You're going to hell. And if you're lucky, you're gonna go to the tribulation. He's just not gonna put you in hell. You're gonna go to the tribulation. The tribulation is a blessing because you get one more opportunity to get it right. It's gonna be painful, it's gonna be miserable, it's gonna be hell on earth, but there's one more opportunity to get it right. So take the opportunity now to get it right so you don't have to go through that option of that iron furnace. But I must die in this land. I must not go over Jordan, but ye shall go over and possess that good land. Look at Moses, man. He say, man, that good land. Man, I just wish I can go there. Because he know. But Yah held even Moses, his beloved servant Moses, to that same high standard. Don't sin against me, Moses. Take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of El, your Yah, which he made with you, and make you a graven image, or the likeness of anything which Yah thy El hath forbidden thee. For Yah is a consuming fire, even a jealous Yah. So he's saying right here, I will kill you. So many times that's what he's telling you, I will kill you. And people really don't understand this, and this is why so many people are dying and living miserable lives in the churches. They're not understanding the fear of Yah is completely gone.
And it's not only in the churches, it's everywhere.
But
out there and in the church.
I'm focused on the church because they're the ones who open this book. The scriptures even says even the Gentiles do what is unnatural to them. You know what I'm saying? They keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. They don't even know it. So You open up the Bible, Hebrew Israelites, and you don't even do it. And you got the Gentiles over here that are not natural to the law, and they doing the law. You know what I'm saying? So you got some atheists out here that have better behavior than Christians. Only thing they need is Christ, and they be straight. You know what I'm saying? They don't lie, they don't steal, they upright. You know what I'm saying? Only thing they just don't believe in Yahushua Mashiach. But once they get that, you know what I'm saying, that'd be good. When thou shalt beget children and children's children, and ye shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and make a graven image, or the likeness of anything. You see what's going on here? Some people are victims to peace, to a good life, because you don't train yourself up to continue in his word. You become slothful. You don't you say, man, ain't nothing gonna happen. We've been good for 50 years, 100 years. I got grandchildren. All that stuff about all that's that old people stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's that old people stuff.
Well, if you got to be old, that's old. That's for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that peaceful life can cause you to error too if you're not staying in his word, because you get comfortable. Just like when people get some money, they're like, oh man, when they didn't have no money, they was faithful service, they was there, they was doing it first, hallelujah, all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? But as soon as they got some money, not today, we're gonna go on vacation, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna go do this, we're gonna do this, and you forget Yah who blessed you and put you in that position, and now you're back in the sin. Not a good thing. So that means we always have to have that state of humbleness. I always have to be seeking him no matter what, in the good times and the bad times.
Correct.
I call heaven and earth to witness against you. Boy, this is some serious stuff right here. It's like, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish off the land whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And Yah shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left in few numbers among the heathen, whither El shall lead you. And this is one of the punishments of Zion for disobeying his laws. They were put into captivity multiple times. And there ye shall serve gods, the works of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see nor eat nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek Yah thy El, thou shalt find him. See, it's never an issue talking about where are you, Yah. I grew up in the church, but I ain't grew up in the church. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never called on the name Jesus day in my life. I found Yah. You know what I'm saying? So what's this? But I always looked for truth. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it was, I always had, something got to be more than this, and it stumbled to Yah. I was guided to Yah. So my point is saying that if you have a heart that is seeking truth, you're going to find it. And a lot of people are not finding Yah in the peace of him because they're really not seeking him. What they're seeking is a blessing.
Right.
That's it. They're not seeking Yah. They're seeking a blessing, some money, a wife, a car. You know what I'm saying? And once they get that, they money, man. That's all I wanted. I didn't want that relationship with my Father. That intimacy. Mm-hmm. They want a convenience store, and that's why they go to the wood. That's why they go to the rock. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to buy all of this, and I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to get my fix. That's what most people are looking for, a fix. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But if from thence thou shalt seek Yah, thou shalt find him. If you seek him, you're going to find him. If thou seek him with all what? Thine heart. A lot of people don't seek Yah with all their heart. They seeking just because they could be seeking Yah and just have a little bit of turbulence. I'm getting off this. I can't go through this. And don't let it be a real turbulence, man. You know what I'm saying? The plane broke apart and you falling out the sky. You know what I'm saying? Like Job. You know, Job was in a plane that ripped apart. He flying. You know what I'm saying? He had to continue to hope in Yah and to trust in Yah. And, you know, basically, you know, Yah had his hands around him and he had no harm. But how many people have that, all that heart love with Yah right now to go to be on a plane and the plane rip apart? Well, I know Yah got me. You know what I'm saying? Most people ain't gonna say that. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
When thou art in tribulation, and you know, having your life being torn apart, that's a tribulation right there. Just like Daniel, just like Job, just like Abraham, just like Lot, etc., etc., etc. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to Yah, and shalt be obedient unto his voice, for Yah is a merciful Yah. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he swore unto them. For ask now of the days that are past, which are before thee, since the day that Yah created man upon the earth. And ask from the one side of heaven unto the other, whether there have been any such thing as great thing is, or hath been heard like it. Did even people hear the voice of Yah speaking out of the midst of the fire? So thou hast heard and live? Or hath Yah essayed to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation by temptations, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by mighty hand, and by stretched out arm, and by great terrors, according to all that Yah your Yah did for you in Egypt before your eyes? Unto thee it was shown that thou mightest know that Yah, he is El. There is none else beside him. And when he was talking about the great thing, like everybody know about this, just like if you go into a lot of people oral history or tribal history, the flood is throughout many tribes, multiple Gentile tribes. They say, man, that one great flood came and killed everything. This great water. Everybody know about the great flood of the earth. Everybody know. It's in nearly everybody's history. They was like, our ancestors hid in under the earth from the great waters. You know, it's all over the planet Earth. So everybody know the power and the might of Yah. But Yah is saying this was shown to you personally, firsthand. So, man, you know, have some respect unto me. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, that he might instruct thee. And, see right here? And this is why people really need to understand free will. What he said right here. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, that he what? He might instruct thee. Meaning something could go wrong here. Just like with Cain and Abel. He said he seen Cain's heart. He said, Cain, do you not know sin lies at the door? Why? Because free will. You can't get love without free will. It has to be a free will offering. So this is why Yah is saying, I'm going to work with these people and try to see what's going on. And at one point he said to Moses, I'm going to kill everybody and start over. Why? Because this batch is just too much. It's a bad batch. And Moses had to remind Yah, remember the great things you did for this people in front of all the nations? And Yah was like, all right. Because he was ready to kill everybody and just start all over again. Because it's trial and error, because free will's in the mix. And this is why he said that they might instruct. That's why you can have children and raise them up right and they be demons. Or you can have somebody who's with Yah and then later on in life they just turn from him. Because why? Free will is at play. You have free will.
Mm-hmm.
that he might instruct thee, and upon earth he showed thee his great fire, and thou heardest his voice out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after him, and brought thee out in his sight with his mighty power out of Egypt, to drive out nations from before the greater and mightier than thou, to bring thee in, to give thee their land for an inheritance, as it is this day. Know therefore this day, and consider it in thine heart. That, see why I always go back to the heart, because it keeps saying, I want this to be in your heart. It can be in your mind, you're thinking about it, but if it's not in your heart, if you in a fire with somebody that you like, it's different from being in the fire with somebody that you love. I don't know, but I don't want to burn myself. The fire too hot, Bobby. I can't do it. I'm gonna go call for help. But if that was your child or somebody you love, you right in the fire, you coming out with 30-degree burns, because why? You have that love in your heart for them. It's different. Now, many in Zion like Yah. They don't love him, they like him. Many people like Yah. They don't love Yah. You know, I would go through that, but you know, this is not the time for me to be going through stuff like that. You know, I got some bills coming up. We got vacation coming up this summer, so I really can't take this hit with you right now. You know what I'm saying? Because why? They like Yah, they don't love Yah. Verse 38: to drive out nations from before thee, greater and mightier than thou, to bring thee in, to give thee their land for an inheritance, as it is this day. Know therefore this day, and consider it in thine heart, that Yah is Yah in heaven above, and upon the earth beneath there is none else. Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the earth, which Yah hath given thee forever. Then Moses served 3 cities on the side of Jordan towards the sunrising, that the slayer might flee thither, which should kill his neighbor, unaware, and hated him not in times past, and that fleeing unto one of these cities he might live, namely Bizar, in the wilderness, in the plain country of the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead, of the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan, of the Mezanites. And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. There are the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Moses spake unto the children of Israel after they came forth out of Egypt, on this side of Jordan, in the valley over against Beth-Peor, in the land of Shion, the king of Amorites, who dwelt in Hezbon, whom Moses and the children of Israel smote after they were coming out of Egypt. And they possessed his land and the land of Og, king of Bashan, 2 kings of Amorites, which were on the side of Jordan toward the sun rising, from Aurora, which is by the bank of the river of Aron, even unto Mount Zion, which is Hermon, and all the plain on the side of Jordan eastwards, even unto the sea of the plain under the spurge of something, that P word. Now we're going to go to read chapter 5. Then we're going to go, keep it going, to then go to chapter 10. The covenant, and Moses called all Israel and said unto him, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and judgments which I spake in your ears this day, that ye may learn them and keep and to do them. Yah our El made a covenant with us in Horeb. The El made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us, who are all of us here alive this day. Yah talked with you face to face in the mount out of the midst of the fire. I stood between Yah and you at that time to show you the word of El, for ye were afraid by reason of the fire, and went not up into the mountain, saying, I am Yah thy El, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have none other God before me. And right now, what do people have? Many gods before them. You know, it could be their phone, it could be their children, it could be their spouse, it could be money, it could be worshiping on Sunday worship and forsaking his Shabbat day. It could be candy. It could be a piece of cake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you can, man, people throw y'all with a piece of cake, man. Thou shalt not make thee any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them. For I am Yah thy El, I am jealous, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yah in vain, for Yah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. And there's one particular person, y'all probably know, somebody named Gordon Ramsay. He's a cook. He got like a Hell's Kitchen show. He's always, even though it's not the proper name, it's still the name that many people know, you know, Jesus Christ. He'll be like, effing Jesus Christ. Oh, God dang it, Jesus Christ. He's just a worker of Satan to show people to take God's name in vain. No, that's not his true name, but there's a lot of names that people know at that particular moment to call upon, and it's still the same principle matter. But the point is, he teaches, he got like about 5 shows, millions and millions of views. He's always on TV.
I ain't never seen it. I never even heard of it.
Yeah, he got a big following.
What's his name?
Gordon Ramsay.
I heard of Gordon Ramsay, but I thought he was
He's a famous cook.
I thought he was a paper reporter.
Maybe it's another person, but he's always inserting these foul languages and invoking the name of Jesus or Christ to speak of the name of quote-unquote the Most High in vain. Keep the Shabbat day to sanctify it as Yah thy Yah hath commanded thee. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the El. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservants and thy maidservants may rest as well as thou. And remember, they were even doing this in slavery too, and that's what's the confusion too, because they parted way of the Shabbat and they started invoking Sunday worship. And on Sunday, that's when all the slaves that's their rest day. They could go to the preacher and they can go listen to the preacher, and they can have whatever. Some slaves, they could even roam around on Sundays. They could, as they please. They just had to be back at a certain particular time. But this is the same principle here, but they was just doing it on the wrong day. And remember that thou was a servant in the land of Egypt, and that Yah brought thee out thence through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore, Yah commanded thee to keep the Shabbat. Honor thy father and thy mother, as El thy Yah hath commanded thee, that thy days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee in the land which Yah giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. And this is really a translation. It's not kill, it's murder. Because, you know, you can kill somebody breaking into your house or whatnot. But murder means like you're going out to go kill somebody with certain intent. Kill and murder is different thing, because you know you go out hunting, you go kill an animal. You don't go murder an animal. There's even laws in the lands for animal abuse. If you go murder animals, it's different. Neither shalt thou commit adultery, neither shalt thou steal, neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor, neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his manservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. These words Yah spoke unto all your assembly in the mount out of the midst of the fire, and thou out of the fire of the cloud and of the thick darkness, with a great voice. And he added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tablets of stone, and delivered them unto me. And it came to pass, when you heard the voice out of the midst of Yah, you can just imagine that Yah said, don't commit adultery. Leave your brother's wife alone. You know, for about 20 years, you remember that? Now I ain't gonna do that. You know, about 40, 50 years on down, they forgot all about that. You know, it was on after that. You know, the fear of Yah has departed. What he said, I don't remember. And it came to pass, when they heard the voice of Yah out of the midst of darkness, for the mountain did burn with fire, that ye came near unto me, even all the heads of your tribes and your elders. And ye said, behold, Yah hath shown us his glory and his greatness, and we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that Yah doeth talk with man, and he liveth. Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of Yah, our Yah, any more, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh that hath heard the voice of Yah, the living, speaking out of the midst of the fire, as we have, and lived? Go thine near, and hear all that Yah our El shall say, and speak thou unto us all that Yah our El shall speak unto thee, and we will hear it and do it. And El heard the voice of your words when ye spake unto him. And El said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of the people, which they have spoken unto thee. They have well said all that they have spoken. Oh, that there were such a heart in them, that they would fear me. Look at that. Y'all always go back to the heart. Not your mind. Yeah, you can hear something, you can remember something, but it's different going into the fire with somebody that you like and somebody that you love. Like Bobby, I can't do it, Bobby. And that's how a lot of people with Yah, they're like, Yah, I can't do it, Yah, because the love is not there. Oh, there was a heart. This is, Yah sounds sad right here. Oh, that there was such a heart in them, that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with me and with their children forever. And you see that exclamation point at the end, you know, he's emphasizing. Go, say to them, get you into your tents again. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandments, and the statutes, and the judgments, which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess it. Ye shall observe to do therefore as Yah hath commanded you. Ye shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. Ye shall walk in all the ways which Yah your El hath commanded you, that ye may live, and that it may be well with you, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess. Chapter 10. At that time Yah said unto me, hew thee 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood, and I will write on the tablets the words that were in the first tables which thou breakest, and thou shalt put them in the ark. And this is how important the law, statutes, and commandments each are, because, you know, as we also know, Zion was tripping, and they was having an orgy and all that stuff, and he threw down the tablets, and, you know, all hell for them broke out at that point. But this is how important these law, statutes, and commandments are. Yah was like, hey, we got to make sure we make this again, because this is a covenant matter. We got to make sure this is known. And where is it? It's in the heart of the Ark of the Covenant. And anybody who's familiar with this teaching of the Ark of the Covenant, you would know that when Zion went to war, they took the Ark of the Covenant with them because it empowered them. So what was in the Ark was the law, statutes, and commandments, the presence of Yah. 3, and I made an ark of shittim wood, and hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and went up into the mount, having the 2 tables in mine hand. And he wrote on the tables, according to the first writing, the 10 commandments, which Yah spake unto you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the days of the assembly. And Yah gave it them unto me, and I turned myself and came down from the mount, and put the tables in the ark which I had made, and there they be as El commanded me. And the children of Israel took their journey from Beerah of the children of Jachan to Mosera. There Aurora died, and Aaron died, and there he was buried, and Elijah his son ministered in the priest's office in his stead. From thence they journeyed unto Godah, and from Godah to Jabath, a land of rivers of water. At that time the El separated the tribes of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of Yah, to stand before El, to minister unto him, and to bless in his name unto this day. Wherefore Levi hath no part nor inheritance with his brethren. The Yah is his inheritance, according as El promised him. And I stayed in the mounts, according to the first time, 40 days and 40 nights. And El hearkened unto me at that time also, and El would not destroy thee. And El said unto me, Arise, take thy journey before the people, that they may go in and possess the land which I swear unto their fathers to give unto them. And now, Israel, what doeth Yah thy El required of thee, but to fear thee, Yah thy El, to walk in all his ways, and to love him. You see how these things are separated, and just emphasize on love. Just because you keep his laws, statutes, and commandments don't mean you love him. Just like the scriptures say, these people use vain words with me, but their hearts are far from me. Oh yeah, we keeping the Sabbath, man. You be like, man, I can't wait for this to be over with. Yeah, we keeping the feast days, man. I can't wait to leave this hellhole, get back to the farm, get back home. They can't wait to go do something else because they're not all one and the same. But if you have perfect love, you're gonna do that thing. You're gonna sit there, just like some married people. A wife might not want to really do what a husband want to do, but she like, I love him something, and vice versa. A husband might not want to do what a wife want to do. You be like, all right, I'm saying she want to go shopping right now. I go with her, or something. You know what I'm saying? She really want to go to this Italian place. I really don't want to go, but it's because of love there, and you're not gonna sit there and just show it like, I really don't want to be here. I really don't want to be here. I'm just here just cause, you know what I'm saying? You're going to interact, you're going to give the vibe in the honest love, like, I'm here to support you in this thing, you know what I'm saying? As long as there's no wickedness, to walk in all his ways and to love him and to serve Yah with all thine heart, with all thy soul. Look at this thing. The heart, the soul, the soul, thy might. You know what I'm saying? These are serious things. Because you're not going to walk through a fire with somebody that you like. Nah, man. I can't do it, man. You know, because you're going to see them flames and all this stuff. You don't want to get hurt. But if you had somebody on the other side that you love, you will go above and beyond for that person. And this is what Yah is wanting you to do for him. To go above and beyond for him. To give that extra mile. To, you know, wake up when you don't want to wake up. To go walk a walk that you don't want to walk. And it's not like it's one-sided because what? He did something that he didn't want to do. I really don't want to go down here and have these people touch me. I really don't want to do this, but I'm going to go the extra mile because I love them. And that's why the scriptures say we love him because he first loved us. He set the example, you know. To keep the commandments of Yah, that his statutes, which, and this is why he said when he come back, them that pierce me, I'm going to kill. I really didn't want y'all to touch me. So I'm going to kill you when I come back. You know what I'm saying? So it's a serious thing. You know what I'm saying? To keep the commandments of Yah and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Not for these. There's not a commandment in the scripture that somebody can point out and say, well, this is not a just or this is not a good commandment. The scriptures say women shouldn't be preachers and doing all this teacher. Why? Because they're a weaker vessel and they're under the man. So that's like saying, well, a child could be like, well, I don't have to respect you. You're just my mother. I don't, you know, these are just words. You know what I'm saying? I feel God is telling me I shouldn't listen to you.
Yeah, that's what they say.
And then what's going to happen? You're going to have some problems.
Yeah, she's going to have some problems.
Well, everybody's going to have some problems. But you see the effect of it when it's out of order. And then when you have women usurping authority over men, you see the problem. You see the problem about uncleanness. You see the problem about adultery. You see the problem about fornication, etc., etc. There's not a law in the scripture that somebody could quote and say it ends in a bad situation. It always ends in a good situation. Behold, the heaven of heavens is Yah's, thy Yah, the earth also with all that therein is. Only Yah had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people, as it is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your what? Your heart. Well, it keep going to the what? The heart. The heart. The heart. The heart. The heart. I can teach you how to do math and do certain things, but that don't mean you're gonna love it. Some people have a love for math. I just love the stuff. You know what I'm saying? I just do it, you know what I'm saying? I dream about it, I think about it. And that's what y'all want you to have their relationship. You're dreaming about him, you're thinking about him. This last night I had a dream and we was talking about Christ. I was at somebody's house and he was like, yeah, I just started reading about Christ. And we started talking. Because Yah's in my heart, you know. I can't speak for nobody else, you know what I'm saying? But Yah's in my heart, and when I sleep, I dream about it. I've called out Yahushua Mashiach name multitudes of times in my dreams, you know what I'm saying? Many times I've seen visions and stuff like that because I put it in my heart. And that's how Yah wants us to be. And the more that he's with us, it's going to be peace. Just like with Daniel. When Daniel was in the fire, Daniel didn't want to be in that fire. But he was in there with the whole heart of Yah and the love for Yah. So he was like, you know, I'm going to do this and he's going to come through. And what happened? He came through. Only Yah had a delight, verse 16. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart. And a lot of people go into Paul writings. It doesn't matter if you're circumcised. It's about the heart. It's always been about the heart. And people misinterpret that by not getting circumcised. Circumcision is a covenant. You know, lucky for me, when I was a child, you know, they chopped that thing off, so I ain't got to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? But if that didn't happen, I would go get circumcised because it's part of the laws and the covenant. You know, Dave's talking about, you ain't got it. What is circumcision? Paul says, what is circumcision? It's all about the heart. It's always been about the heart, wise one. And if you read the scriptures, you would know it's always been about the heart. But you still got to do the law. And Abraham wasn't a young man or a child when he got that foreskin cut off.
I was a child, but I was a little bit older than a 3-day-old baby.
Hey, man, but that's good because you ain't got, that's going to heal up quick and you ain't got to worry about that no more. It's more difficult for a man, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause just like when the sons of Jacob went to go slaughter those men, you know what I'm saying, before they slaughtered them, they told them to cut off their foreskins, and while they were healing, they came and killed everybody. So, I'm sure it's a painful thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it ain't going to hurt, because it probably is. It's going to hurt. But, law, statutes, and commandments. And you got to remember what happened to Moses. Moses didn't circumcise his son, and his wife had to hurry up and circumcise his son because Yah was coming to kill Moses' son for not being circumcised. So my point is, y'all not playing. For Yah, your Yah, is El of gods and Lord of lords, a great Yah, a mighty and terrible, which regarded not person nor taketh reward. See right there, he regarded not Moses when Moses didn't circumcise his son, and when Moses was going to the promised land because of Moses' sin, he didn't regard him. Just because I speak face to face to you, Yah was speaking face to face with Satan, but you still got to go. He doeth execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loveth the stranger. That goes for the Gentiles. In giving him food and remnant. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. There's even laws in dealing with the Hebrew Israelites with the strangers. Thou shalt fear Yah, him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave, and swear by his name. He is thy prize, and he is thy El, that hath done for thee these great and terrible things, which thine eyes have seen. Thy fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons, and now El, thy Yah, hath made thee as the stars of heaven for multitude. I mean, they having a lot of children in abundance. They were fruitful. There's people right now, you know what I'm saying, they not fruitful, man. They can go to clinics, they can spend $20,000 on ovary stuff, and, no baby's going in that womb. That thing is done. You know what I'm saying? But Yah is making Zion right here just fruitful. He's blessing their wombs. He's blessing their seed to take. There's people out here child napping children. They want a child so bad. You know what I'm saying? They got children on the black market. Where this one came from? Cambodia. Nobody knows. You got people selling children, you know what I'm saying? Because other people want children.
Where is this one from? North Carolina.
North Carolina. This got in today. In today, Now we're going to go to chapter 11. Chapter 11. Therefore, thou shalt love Yah. See, always, man, keep going back to this. The heart love. The heart love. And unfortunately for Yah, a lot of people just don't love him. Just don't love him. That's why he keep saying this, man, if y'all would just love me. Just like he said in what it was. Was it 10? Where was it? In Deuteronomy chapter 5:29, oh, that there were such a heart in them that they would fear me and keep my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. You see the sorrow? This is like, man, I know they're about to do wrong, but only if they would just do right, Therefore, thou shalt love Yah, thy El, and keep his charge, and his statutes, and his judgments, and his commandments always. And know ye this day, For I speak not with your children which have not known and which have not seen the chastisement of El, your Yah, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arm, and his miracles, and his acts, which he did in the midst of Egypt, unto Pharaoh and the king of Egypt, and unto all his land, and what he did unto the army of Egypt, unto their horses and to their chariots, how he made the waters of the Red Sea to overflow them as they pursued after you, and how Yah hath destroyed them unto this day, and what he did unto you in the wilderness until you came into this place, and what he did unto Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Elah, the sons of Reuben, how the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and their tents, and all the substance that was in their possessions, in the midst of all Israel. But your eyes have seen all the great acts of El, which he did. And see, this is why y'all gonna do this right here. Because people got short-term memory. I mean, like, you know, y'all could do something, you know what I'm saying, last week and they forget about it. So he gonna do something to remind everybody every week. Go to Isaiah chapter 66. Because for some reason, people just got short-term memory. I mean, just like, I didn't know. I forgot all about that. It was just last week, Bobby. Isaiah 66, 22 to 24. This is going to be a weekly thing right here. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 22 to 23.
24, you said.
I said 22 to 24. See, he's reminding everybody of these great acts, his power. For as the new heavens and the new earth which I will make shall remain before me, saith Yah, so shall your seed and your name remain. So this is in the millennial reign. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Shabbat to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yah. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against Yah. You see right here? What he doing right here? He trying to remind you, I will kill you. Because why? You know, that free will, boy, just people got this short-term memory, man. You know what I'm saying? They just forget. So he say, on a weekly basis, I'm going to show you, I will kill you. Yeah. Just to keep it in your mind that I will kill you. For their worms shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh. Because what is this doing? This is a healthy reminder. Samantha, what are you doing? Keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Brad, don't do it, Brad. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments, Brad. You know what I'm saying? Because next week you might be in there. So this is just a little healthy reminder. Deuteronomy 11, chapter 11, verse 8. Therefore shall ye keep all the commandments which I command you this day, that ye may be strong and go in and possess the land, whether you go to possess it, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which Yah sware unto your fathers to give unto them and to their seed, a land that floweth with milk and honey. See what happens? You know, everybody wants this, but everybody don't want to do what's necessary to keep this. You know, it's the land of milk and honey. You know, you got to really think about it. You know, a lot of people got issues with lust. Okay, a whore, she's very sexual and she's very pleasing. Facts. And a whoremonger, you know, for women, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's very sexual, very, you know, fulfilling. Got that. But besides that, what is there? really not nothing. They might buy you something here and there, you know what I'm saying?
Claps.
It ain't really, you know, it ain't really no heartfelt, you know, if you sick, you know, yeah, they not gonna make you no soup or nothing if you sick or nothing, you know, it's just like, but sexual stuff, you know, some wickedness, you know, but let's take a Proverb 31 woman. A Proverb 31 woman can offer you sexual gratification too. So you got a wicked woman, whore, who can offer you sexual gratification, and you have a Proverb 31 woman who can offer you sexual gratification.
And a life.
A life, health, wealth. She will render good children. She will be there for you. She will honor you. Why would you go to a whore? It don't make sense. Yes, the whore sexual pleasure will please you
for a few minutes.
For a few minutes, or for, you know, some people, you know, getting it in. You know what I'm saying? But the Proverb 31 woman can give you that same sexual gratification with no downside. Vice versa for a righteous man to a whoremonger. You know, so why can't you just say, nah, this ain't gonna work out, but this will work out, and just go with what's good and have life being brought forth? But you have free will. You can destroy your life if you want to. That's your life. For the land whether thou goest in to possess it is not as the land of Egypt, from whence ye came out, where thou sowedest thy seed, and watered it with the foot and garden of herbs. But the land whether ye go to possess it is the land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven. Like, yo, I want some water of heaven. You know what I'm saying? You down here with the whore drinking city water. For what, man? Like, it ain't nothing. That heaven water is crisp, nice, refreshing. Clear. Clear. You know what I'm saying? Like minerals, healthy. You know. But the land, 12, a land which Yah created for the eyes of the thy Elohim are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even unto the end of the year. And it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently, meaning you're putting forth effort, you're staying in those extra hours, you're trying, unto my commandments, which I command you this day, to love. There we go again. Love, what's that returning word? Love the heart. Love the heart. It's always going back to, I need this to be in your heart. A lot of people is in their mind, it's on their mind, they reminded of it, but it's not in your heart. To love Yah, your El, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul. People are really not understanding this, you know what I'm saying? Because Yah is really not in their heart and soul like this. He's on their mind, but he's not deep in. That's why a person could be in church for 20, 30 years, and they'd be like, man, I'm lonely. And then the Satan come up, you know, with a whoremonger or a whore, be like, hey, come spend the night with me. Okay. Why? Because Yah's not in your heart. And after a certain amount of time, this goes about keeping His laws, statutes, and commandments. If you're not receiving blessings in your life, there's a problem. There's a problem. Red flag. That's a red flag. You got Yah over here saying, I'm willing to bless, and you're not getting blessings. It's a big problem. You know what I'm saying? That means something's going on in your life, because He's ready to bless you. So that means, like, am I really keeping His laws, statutes, and commandments? Am I really doing His will? Most times, you're not. Now, there are times like Job, people go through tribulations, and the scriptures say, if ye suffer for Christ's sake for tribulations. But it later on goes to say, but don't suffer as a sinner. Many people right now suffer for sinners' sake because they're not doing His will, and that's why they're suffering. Two major differences. 14, that I will give you the rain of your land in his due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest goeth in thy corn, and thy wine, and thine oil. And I will send grass in thy fields, for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourselves, that your heart be not deceived, because people are deceived. A lot of people are deceived right now. I was going to do a lesson today, but I ran out of time, so I couldn't put it together like I wanted to, about Satan in the pulpit. Satan's in many of these churches preaching good sermons every week. Good sermon. Get up and dance and make you feel like you got the spirit in you. You live out, you're feeling all type of outwardly warm and everything, but still empty inside, because Satan get up on a pulpit every Sunday and give out wonderful sermons that's full of emptiness, but make you feel good. It's just like being with a whore. That moment when you with the whore make you feel good, but afterwards, it just
Wonder why I did that.
It just didn't fulfill me. I just didn't get that. And a lot of people, they go to the churches, and that's what the scriptures say in Revelation chapter 2, because they have taught my people to sacrifice unto idols, and they have taught them doctrines of devils, and that's what Satan does every week in the majority of these churches. They teach them the doctrine of Satan. So you sleep with the whore, and then you have your little fun, and then you just don't feel that, where are the blessings at? Where that fulfillment at? That's why. Take heed to yourselves, 16, that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. They got some Catholic church up here. They about to go say about 1,000 Hail Marys tomorrow. They gonna say it's true. They gonna reverence Mary. And in the quote unquote Christian churches, they about to go worship Jezebel. That's who run these churches, Jezebel. She put up her prophets, she put up her preachers, and they serve Jezebel, and they preach the doctrine of Jezebel. That's why the scriptures say, you have taught my people to sacrifice unto idols. Who has? Jezebel has. Jezebel is over the majority of these churches. She gives the authority. Why? Look at the church's body. Who are the majority of members in churches? Women. You say something that a woman doesn't, the body of women don't like, they say, you have to go, pastor, you can't preach here no more. Because why? We shall not have this doctrine in the churches of Jezebel. That's why a lot of men don't go to these churches, because they like, I ain't going to listen to that pastor. But a lot of women who are seduced by these spirits, they will go there and listen to that stuff. They will fund the pastor. They will pay for the pastor. If the pastor does wrong, they will forgive the pastor, as long as the pastor preaches and practice a seducing doctrine. Just as the scriptures prophesied in Revelation chapter 2. And then, 17, and then Yah's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heavens, that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit. And lest ye perish quickly from off the land which Yah giveth you. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your, what again? Hearts. It's always going back to the heart, to love. Lay them in your heart and in your soul. See, this is a free will thing. This isn't something that the Most High has to make you do. This is something that you have to use your own free will to say, I'm going to have an intimate, loving, heartfelt relationship with him, and I'm going to put him in me. This is a free will thing. And in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand. When we read, I think we was reading in Isaiah, I forgot the chapter, he said, how can I forget you, Zion, because I have engraven you on the palms of my hand. This is what Yah wants you to do. Engrave him in your heart. Engrave him in your mind. Engrave him on your hand. Spiritually. Not saying you take a knife and engrave yourself. Not saying that. That they may be a footlet between your eyes, and ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house. How many people have you ever seen sit down with their children and discuss the law, statutes, and commandments? They'll talk about sports. Michael Jordan, Pippen, Charles Barkley. Who else? LeBron James, Mike Tyson. What else sit here and reverence idols all day long and talk about scores and games and World War II and, but they won't talk about no law, statutes, and commandments. And they wonder why their children grow up to be monsters. When you had the time to nourish the truth in them, you didn't. And some of it is for ignorance sake. But nevertheless, Genesis and Revelations has always been here. It never changed. It never left. You know what I'm saying? So why aren't many doing their due diligence to read of him for their own self? I can't rely on a pastor. I can't rely on a man of Yah even to build my relationship with the Most High. This is a personal thing. I can show you. I can say, hey, you do this, you're going to have a good relationship. But that is your free will to have that good relationship. Just like the old saying, you can lead a horse to the water,
but you can't make him drink.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, all right, you gonna die if you don't drink, but you know, your life, your choice. Verse, where was I? And 20 of 19. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou raisest up. Look at that, man. When your children are going to sleep, remember, thou shalt not lie. Remember, such and such, such. Remember, to honor thy mother, thy father. Remember, keep the Shabbat. Remember, instead of telling them the three little bears, they went into the house. And the first little piggy went there. You fill your child with foolishness, that's what's going to come out. Foolishness. And then a lot of children, because children don't like being lied to. Santa Claus not real. What was that? That's a lie. You are lying to your children with idols. And when they grow up, man, you've been lying to me all my life, mother, father. They do have a little bit of resentment. Because why? You've been lying to them all their life. 20. And thou shalt write them upon the doorpost of thine house and upon thy gates. What is going here? That continuous remembrance. Why? Because it's a battle for your mind. You have Satan battling for your mind. Now, Satan going to do that every day. Your children going to go to school, or you going to go to work, you'll go out. Satan going to be right there to remind you, hey, don't forget, half off drinks for women on Friday. Hey, we have prostitute specials over here. Hey, yada, 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 yada. Satan always reminding you. Why? Because Satan understands free will. It's a battle for the mind, the heart. 21, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children in the land which Yah sware unto your fathers. And some even parents even have sorrow because, they might come to the truth later on in life, and they might know they mistaught their children, and something happened to their children. Man, I destroyed my children. I didn't teach them right from wrong. I didn't do this. And that's a depressing thing. Because if your child died in their iniquity and they were of accountable age, they will be judged. And now that's got to be on your conscience. That's a terrible life of sorrow, man. That's sadness right there. Because you love your children. And that's why the Watchers, when Yah destroyed their children, the Nephilim, what did they? They cried, no. Because why? They love their children. Because why? It's a part of you. That's the same thing with Yah. He loves his children. Why? Because it's a part of him. He didn't want Lucifer to go through all this stuff. He didn't want the angels to go through all this. He didn't want Adam to go through all this stuff. Why? Because he loved everybody. They're of him. Now the Nephilim are not of him. They have the essence of him, but they're not of him. 20, that's why he called them bastards. 22, for if ye shall delightly keep all these commandments, which I command. You see, it goes to that delight thing, because some people, they keep it just for face value. That's what I was talking about when a husband or a wife do something that for the other that they really don't want to do. I'm just doing it just to doing it. You be like, nah, I don't want to. Nah, never mind, because you're bringing that I don't really want to be here presence. And that's how Yah is. Since you don't really want to be here, you can leave. If you're not going to have enjoyment in having a good time with me, it's not like we about to go slap each other or go, go get sick or something. We about to have a joyous time. If you can't stand having a joyous time with me, maybe we shouldn't be near each other right now. So depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I need to charge this phone. Brother Ron gonna die soon. Oh, the phone gonna die. Let me record this camera too. I forgot to press. This camera only records for an hour and it stops. And it has stopped. See, the devil don't want you to have this understanding about being joyous in Yah's laws, statutes, and commandments. Let me restart. 23. Then will Yah drive out all those nations from before you, and ye shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. And especially in this time, that could be demons. You know what I'm saying? That will be manifesting into demons. You know, because some people have a multitude of legion in them. But if you start to keep Yah laws, statutes, and commandments, He's going to deliver you from those enemies. Every place whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river and the river of Euphrates, even unto the utmost sea shall your coast be. There shall no man be able to stand before you, for Yah your El shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he hath said unto you. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey, and commandments of El, your Yah, which I command you this day. See, Yah is always black and white. Either you're going to do it, I'm going to bless you. You don't do it, I'm going to destroy you, kill you, curse you, kill all your children, kill your cattle, make your life a living hell. Which one you want? I lay before you life and blessings, and I lay before you curses. And who are these curses came? You like, oh, that devil, oh, no, that's Samantha, that Jonathan, that's you. You have invoked the wrath of Yah, and damnation is upon you. And a curse if ye will not obey the commandments of Yah your El, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods which ye have not known. And it shall come to pass, when Yah thy El hath brought thee in unto the land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim, and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Are they not on the other side of Jordan, by the way where the sun goeth down, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in the campaign over against Gilgal, beside the plains of Morah? For ye shall pass over Jordan to go in to possess the land which Yah your El giveth you, and ye shall possess it and dwell therein, and ye shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day. And I will go to chapter 14. Ye are the children of El, your Yah. Ye shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. For thou art a holy people unto Yah thy El, and Yah hath chosen thee to be a particular people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. Right now, tomorrow, a pastor is going to be asked, can we eat pork? By the blood of Jesus, you can. Matter of fact, I'm going to have me some pork later on today. By the blood, just the blood of Jesus has sanctified everything. See, don't listen to them people who talk about the law, statutes, and commandments. We can't keep no law, statutes, and commandments, and he knew this, and this is why he sent his only begotten Son to show us mercy in the blood of Jesus. Now, if you want to follow those teachings of man and idol worship, that is a free will matter that you have free will to do. But if you want to be in subjection and to have Yah in your heart, you're not going to do that. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. These are the beasts which ye shall eat. The ox. I enjoy me some oxtail. Some rice and some beans. I'm cool with that, man. I don't need no pig feet. I don't need that, man. Matter of fact, I really prefer oxtails over pig feet. The sheep, I enjoy some lamb.
Yes, sir.
And the goat, I enjoy some goat. I'm sure Brother Pedro wouldn't have many goats in his life. You know, growing up in the Caribbeans, you know.
Yes, sir.
And
why you gotta say that now?
You want some goat now? The heart, that is 5-1. That is the deer. I've had deer not a big fan of it, but it's all right. And the roebuck, and that is the roe, the female deer, and the fallow deer. That is a roe deer, another deer, and the wild goat, and the pagar, that is a mountain goat, and the wild ox, antelope, and the chamus, a mountain sheep, and every beast that parted the hoof, which the hoof, on their thing, and cleaved the cleft into their claws, and chewed the cud. So they got the hoof thing, the cloven foot, and they chew like a cow. You know what I'm saying? A cow, will eat, for hours just chewing stuff because they're digesting. But a pig just eat. Even though they're cloven footed, they don't the hoof. And they don't chew their food like that. Nevertheless, these shall not eat of them that cheweth the cud, or of them that divided the cloven hoof, as the camel, and the ahar, and the coney, for they chewed the cud, but divided not the hoof. So it has to have requirements here. But divided not the hoof, therefore they are unclean unto you. And the swine, because it divided the hoof, yet chewed not the cud. And that's why it'd be like you're eating like a pig. People just stuffing their mouth. It's really nasty. See somebody eat like that. It really is. And that spirit is here a lot because them food eating competitions. They just be like, oh, Nathan's hot dogs. Who can eat the most hot dogs? I'm gonna eat 100 hot dogs. I mean, it's disgusting, man. I don't know. You've seen people.
Yeah, I seen it the other day. That guy ate 71.
I mean, you got a guy, man. Yeah, and it's a big thing right now. You go on YouTube, man. They got people doing all type of food challenges. It's a big thing, I can eat $50 worth of Taco Bell. I can eat, $100 worth of. I mean, it's crazy, yo. Now I do believe they're going to die soon. Ain't too many. Ain't too many years on that diet. Yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales ye shall eat, like salmon, like red snapper. It has to have the scales, the shiny things, and it has to have the fins and stuff like that. Like catfish has the fins, but they don't have the scales.
Don't have no scales. Got skin like a man.
And anything else, besides like crawfish, crab, lobster. These things aren't supposed to be consumed.
They garbage eaters of the sea.
They eat the feces and the dirt uncleanness. They're filter animals, you know. So Yah is trying to tell us, because his laws are life, he's trying to say, hey, I put these on the planet to keep the ecosystem of the planet in harmonious motion. That's why he put these animals here, not for to be consumed, so they consume the most toxic things off the planet. And when you eat things that consume things that are meant to be cleansed, you're putting that in your flesh. And a lot of these shrimp have parasites. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people in Asia, they eat a lot of sushi. One guy had parasites all in his body from eating all these squids and all this stuff. But again, you have free will. If that's what you want for your life, right now you got free will. Just like Moses said, I put before you life and death. Whatever you want to choose, you have free will to do.
I used to eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, did a lot of things before they came to the truth, saying, and whatnot, But the point is, but once you hear the word, you know what I'm saying? Because yes, y'all might, put something in your path, be like, hey, you should keep his law, statutes, and commandments to stir you up. But that nevertheless, if you're a person who say you follow Christ, you got this book. You don't need nobody to tell you to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, because you're supposed to be reading for yourself. And y'all might have to send you a little extra reminder, hey, Samantha, keep my law, statutes, and commandments. I'm going to read about that. And then, the wheels start turning, you know what I'm saying? Some people, it's just, that's why they're shepherds for the sheep, you know what I'm saying? These ye shall eat in all the waters, I read that. 10. And whatsoever have not fins and scales ye may not eat. It is unclean to you. Of all the clean birds ye shall eat, but these are they which ye shall not eat: the eagle and the
Osprey.
No, that's not ostrich.
Osprey.
I don't know what that is, but.
And then the osprey.
I don't think that's ostrich either. Matter of fact, let me look this up real quick while we on this, because I have no idea.
That's probably what it looked like. That's what they meant. Vulture.
The what?
Vulture.
Okay, one is the vulture, and what's the other one?
The osprey is just the vulture.
Okay, but the osprey.
That's like a hawk.
Let's see. Prey. And then it got prey in it too. Prey. No, a.
God.
That is what? Yeah, that's like some type of hawk or eagle type predator
owl.
bird. But nevertheless, it's basically saying all predator birds you shouldn't be eating. Predator birds. And the glid and the kite and the vulture after his kind, and every raven after his kind, and the owl and the nighthawk and the cuckoo, the hawk,
Cuckoo.
and the hawk after this kind, his kind, the little owl and the great owl and the swan, and the pelican and the eagle and the cormorant and the stork. Yeah, I was just talking about y'all was dealing with it last night. Because we was reading, I did a lesson over Zechariah, and one thing was the chapter 5. Yeah, I put on my spirit to meditate on a little bit about the wickedness. If y'all familiar with Zechariah 5, wickedness, the curse that he's going to bring upon the planet Earth is already here. It was wickedness, which was wickedness was in the form of a woman in the basket, and she had two beings that had stork wings, and they brought the basket into Babylon. And you think about that, storks, you know what I'm saying? They always bringing those children. That's really demonic, because that's really they bringing wickedness to you, and Satan like to play, with things. This is something to look into, because both of the female beings that carried the thing down, they both had stork wings. They didn't have angel wings, because there's no female angels. They had stork wings. Angels have like eagle wings. These two females had stork wings. But don't eat the stork. and the pelican, and the gorgon, and the stork, and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat, and every creepy thing that fleeth is unclean unto you. They shall not be eaten, but of all the clean fowls ye may eat. Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. So, you come to something that's dead of itself, you're not supposed to eat, chop it up, and kill it, because most likely, it's sick. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates. Now, this is one of the things with the things, it wasn't permissible, it was not permissible for Hebrew Israelites to eat, but Gentiles can partake in something like this. Or gates that he may eat it, or thou mayest sell it unto the alien, for thou art a holy people unto thy Elohim. Thou shalt not see it a kid in his mother's milk. And a lot of people I know in the Jewish things who are not the true biblical Jews, they say like a cheeseburger. You can't eat a cheeseburger because they say, oh, you're not supposed to mix beef or meat with cheese, which makes no sense. And this is why it makes no sense, because the scriptures right here clearly says, ye shall not see it. See it means boil. Ye shall not boil a kid, which is a baby goat, in his mother's milk, which is a goat. That's what it's saying. It ain't talking about nothing about no cheeseburger. I know Jewish people preach that unlogical, unbiblical doctrine that you can't mix cheese and beef. But this is saying that you can't. I don't know why you would do this, because I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. It's kind of odd. I'm going to boil you in your mother's milk. It's a little odd. But you're not supposed to put a baby goat, with its mother's milk. You're not supposed to boil that together. It has nothing to do with no cheeseburger, no beef, or nothing like that. But thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bring it forth year by year. And this would be the first fruits that we just had the feast of weeks a few weeks ago. And thou shalt eat before thy in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithes of corn of the wine. And understand, this was dealing with the priesthood. The priesthood is no longer here at this particular time. It is coming back in the millennial reign, but it's just about free will offerings at this particular time to various means of places that one would like to give free will offerings. It's not tithes right now, because the priesthood is not established right now. Thy corn of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herd, and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn up to fear thy always. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which Yah thy El shall choose to set his name there, when Yah thy El hath blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it into money, and bind up the money in thine hand, and shall go unto the place which Yah thy El has chosen. And thou shalt bestow
that money.
Bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. See, and this thing about lust too, there's most times there's that out of control lust, and it's like, oh, I really want that, you know what I'm saying? That's different, you know what I'm saying? That's just a desire, you know what I'm saying? But you're talking about, I desire somebody's wife, or I'm desiring somebody's car, I'm lusting after your stuff. You're not supposed to do that. For oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, for whatever thy soul desireth. And thou shalt eat there before thy Elohim, and thou shalt rejoice, thy and thy household, and the Levites that is within thy gates. Thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee. At the end of 3 years thou shalt bring forth all the tithes of thine increase, the same year, and thou shalt lay it up within thy gates, and the Levites, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that El may bless thee in all thy work of thine hand which thou doest. You see right here also, you know, it was a commandment to even bless the stranger here, you know. So everything has laws, statutes, and commandments. Now we're gonna go to for time's sake, let me see how long these are. 21, 22. Probably go to chapter 23, and then we're going to touch a little bit in the New Testament. Chapter 23. He that is wounded in the stones, talking about your testicles, or hath his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of El. And this was going into because a lot of the priests were, some of the priests were worshiping idols and whatnot, and a lot of them were doing this. When they did this, they were doing it to the Queen of Heaven, that they would cut off their testicles and cut off their penis, just like they're doing now. A lot of people are transgender right now, and they just chopping it off.
But they trying to be girls.
Well, nevertheless, it's a spirit of demonic in them, so that's why they're doing it. It's not really, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather lose my arm, my leg. I ain't. That's the one thing I ain't parting with. That's the one thing I am not parting with. You know what I'm saying? But and yeah, y'all probably feel the same. I hope y'all feel the same way. It's just that, and I'm sure for a woman too. It's just something about, you know, that's your strength. You know what I'm saying? You know, just I'd rather lose an arm than that. You know what I'm saying? You know, in the media, you know, they got this transgender stuff. A lot of them are doing away with their male members and stuff like that. So, you know, they don't have, they will be in trouble in the future. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing, you know, some things you just can't come back from, like that. You know, you just.
Yeah, but what about the eunuch that got baptized?
But they were eunuchs, not of the flesh, but eunuchs for the kingdom's sake. They didn't, because we talked about this. Remember?
Yeah, but they were the eunuch that who was that met him?
When they was on the road?
Yeah.
When they was talking about the book of Isaiah?
Yeah, going to, when he was on the road to Damascus.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I know
that
you're
eunuch,
about. He baptized him and everything.
Right. Yeah, Philip.
I don't know if he was a eunuch in the flesh or he was a eunuch in that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but his male member was missing no matter what, because he was learning as he was going to.
What I'm saying, there's two eunuchs though. I don't know.
Okay, I know what you're saying.
Are you saying there's a difference? Like, put it this way, when I was in Iraq, you know what I'm saying, guys' part got blown off. I was a man. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's totally
different between.
You know, we're talking about literally cutting your. You know what I'm saying? You know.
All right, but
that's
he was.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
He was more than likely a slave, and they cut it off.
You know, Yah is reasonable. Says we know that scriptures say I'm reasonable. You know, let us reason together. So if somebody, you know, forcefully done something to you, you know, that's not, you know, just like the prophets. You know what I'm saying? The Hebrew Israelites forcefully, they didn't die of their own consent. The Hebrew Israelites took bricks and. You know, so y'all understand they were murdered or they were abused, you know what I'm saying? So that's something different, you know what I'm saying? But willfully doing it, you're in trouble. If you're willfully cutting off your member, just like, you know, a lot of people are doing this now. Chris Jenner, yeah, you know, he willfully.
Bruce Jones.
Yeah, Bruce Jenner, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jenner, yeah.
Yeah, that's highway to hell right there all day, man. You have messed yourself up. So that was to answer your question about the eunuch. I don't know if that was if they forced him to be a eunuch, if it was a willful eunuch, or he was just a eunuch in the sense of that he took a vow.
No, he was a eunuch because they made him one as a slave, and that I wasn't thinking about that, but I thought about it when I was just asked it. It came to my mind. He was a slave first.
Because I know the Hebrew Israelites who were eunuchs, they weren't eunuchs in the flesh. They just took vow like, I ain't gonna be no woman. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the 3 Hebrew boys, they were eunuchs,
but they weren't eunuchs in the flesh. That's what I'm saying. The Hebrew Israelite, because the scriptures say we're not supposed to harm ourselves. The Most High,
yeah, but if they was already slaves.
Well, I'm talking about willfully doing stuff.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Well,
I know what you're saying.
So if they fell in the category of somebody, you literally held them down and took off their male member, that's different. I'm talking about because some people in the scriptures took a vow to be that. That's what I'm talking about.
I never understood that whole thing, because if Yah says a man should leave his father and mother and be with his wife. Mm-hmm. How then you going to take a vow and say I'm going to be celibate when Yah says you should? Now I understand if you can't find a decent woman, but how you going to take it on yourself to say that?
Because that you're making a vow with him to just do kingdom work. You're saying, while I'm down here, I'm just going to do your kingdom work. I'm married to you, and I'm just going to take a vow to you to practice being a minister for your kingdom's sake. I mean, like I'm 24/7. You are my I'm in marriage with you. That's what he's talking about.
Even Yahusha said, so he made some units.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. You're just taking a vow, like, hey, is this like being a quote unquote a priest? What they be doing, but in the right way. Those did to marry. There's some other stuff, but you can take a vow to do that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have a wife. There's enough other people out here making babies. Your seed, the loss of your seed ain't gonna be a loss for the humanity race.
There's more procreation. It's about what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
In Genesis it says that man shall seek a wife. Exactly. Mm-hmm. But you gotta also understand, certain things that priests do that they just saying I'm just gonna do this 100%. That's why the scripture says, ye eunuchs. Don't say that you're not fruitful, for I will give you a name better than children. So he's already, for people who took a vow to just submit and do kingdom work all their life, he say, man, I'm going to give you a name better than children. Meaning, because, you enjoy your children. He's going to say, I'm going to give you a name better than that. So the scripture say, so don't let the eunuch say, I'm a dry tree. So you already talked about that. But you got to understand, there's some people that say, man, I'm just going to do kingdom work 24/7. Where was a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of El, even to his 10th generation. Shall he not enter into the congregation of El. An Amorite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of El, even in their 10th generation. There shall they not enter into the congregation of El forever, because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when ye came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam the son of Bealpor of Pethor of Mesopotamia to curse thee. Nevertheless, El thy Yah would not hearken unto Balaam, but El turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because Yah thy El loveth thee. Thou shalt not see how Yah expresses his love so openly and freely, you know what I'm saying, for his beloved. You should be doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You can't be in a marriage where the wife is saying, oh, I love my husband, I love him, and the husband, yeah, I love him. All right. That's not harmonious. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. A husband says, yeah, I love my wife, and she's like, yeah, you get on my nerves sometimes, but yeah, all right. You want something that's equally harmonious. I love you, you love me, and Yah is not ashamed to express his love for his lost children. He's not afraid of that. He said, just repent and heal, and we're going to be all good. I want you back, etc., etc., etc. Come unto me. You see how freely Yah is not ashamed to express his love? Because Satan is like, they some whores. Whoo, you got some whores. Well, they some whores. Yah even called Zion whores numerous times. Even one time he called them an imperious whore. You imperious whore. That's Ezekiel chapter 16. But what's going on here? Say, but I love you though, and I just want you to repent and get cleansed of this, so we can just get back to, you know what I'm saying, movie night and having a good time. You know what I'm saying? Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all thy days forever. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, and this is not Edomite in here. This is a mistranslation. It really translates to Assyrian. When you go into details about that, you can look it up at your own time. If you go into the Hebrew, it's really a mistranslation. It says Assyrian. For he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of El in their third generation. When the host goeth forth against thine enemies, then keep thee from every wicked thing. If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness, and clean chanceth him by night, then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come within the camp. But it shall be when evening cometh on, he shall wash himself with water, and when the sun is down, he shall come into the camp again. Thou shalt have a place also without the camp, whether thou shalt go forth abroad, and thou shalt have a pedal upon thy weapon. And it shall be, when thou wilt ease thyself abroad, thou shalt dig there within, and shalt turn back the cover, that which cometh forth from thee. For Yah walketh in the midst of thy camp to deliver thee, and to give up thine enemies before thee. Therefore shall thy camp be holy, that he see no unclean thing in thee, and turn away from thee. See right here the importance of cleanliness, and mainly is spiritual cleanliness right now, because these camps, because the battle isn't as much as physical as spiritual right now. That's why Scripture says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities and spirits, high places, etc., etc. And you want when Yah come in the midst of you, when he come check everything out, you want to make sure everything is as clean as possible, so he can be there to fight for you in the midst of your enemies, and to drive that wickedness away. But if you stay in wickedness and filth, he say, I'm going to leave. You can keep the filth. I'll leave. Don't worry. You ain't got to clean up. I'll leave. I don't want to disturb you in your filth. You know what I'm saying? I know you got a whore in the bedroom. I don't want to disturb you. Have fun. Bye. Thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. He shall dwell with thee even among you, in that place which he shall choose in one of thy gates, where it liken him best. Thou shalt not oppress him. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. So, no homosexuals. Now the top of stuff talking about going to servants and stuff like that. Zion really don't have this problem, because Zion's in captivity themselves. Ain't really got to worry about no servants and all this stuff. Somebody, you helping somebody, or you in bondage yourself. There shall be no whore of the daughter of Zion, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. So, you know what I'm saying? But that goes back to when I was talking about rehearsing the laws and statutes with your children, when they're young, instead of reading them bedtime stories, reading them a Yah story, you know what I'm saying? Just to keep that on their mind, so, it's less likely to happen. Your daughter be a whore, your son be a sodomite, etc., etc. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore, or the piece of a dog. And that's why, there's a byword, you call women whores, and you call male whoremongers dog. You ain't nothing but a dog. It's biblical right there. You just a dog. You just have sex with everything that walk past, just like a dog. Because the dog will what? Go have sex with the neighbor dog, the other neighbor dog down there. Don't let the gate be open. They gonna walk around, go, out all night, doing dog behavior, you know what I'm saying? Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore. So you ain't supposed to be buying no whores, you know what I'm saying? Or the price of a dog into the house of El. for any vow, for even both these are abomination unto El. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. Meaning, you know what I'm saying, if you lend to a fellow brother or a sister, you know what I'm saying, you ain't supposed to be like, if you let them borrow $100, you know, expect $100 back. Expect your $100 back, but don't expect
no interest.
Yeah, don't expect, oh man, you know that's gonna be $120, Bobby. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's not how you're supposed to do, you know what I'm saying? And they go for corn or whatever, you know, some people just be like, I can borrow some sugar, well, I want 2 cups back. People will do that, you know what I'm saying? 20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that Yah thy Yah may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in that land whether thou goest to possess it. Now again, everything is not equally dispensed in the law, statutes, and commandments. Some things like a Hebrew Israelite can't eat anything that is dead, but you can give it to a stranger, a Gentile. Right here it's saying that a Gentile may lend money at usury, you know, but not wicked usury. But that's part of the law, statutes, and commandments. If they choose to do that, they choose to do that. When thou shalt vow a vow unto Yah thy El, thou shalt not slack to pay it. For Yah thy El will surely require it of thee, and it would be sin in thee. But if thou shalt forbear to vow it, it shall be no sin unto thee. So choose your words to come out of your mouth very particularly, even to this very moment. Hey, Most High, I vow I'm going to go out every morning at 6 a.m. and I'm going to preach the gospel. That's what you can vow yourself too, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't want to hear nothing else but, you know what I'm saying, that alarm clock going off at 6 a.m. and you walking out that door. You got that? You vowed it, you know what I'm saying? He didn't tell you to vow. It's a free will thing, so be careful what you vow because it's going to be required of you. And if you don't do it, that is sin. Because how many marriages, you know what I'm saying? Well, I really didn't mean it. We only been married 2 weeks. Well, the vow don't come with a time stipulation, you know. If in 2 weeks, if you take it back, everything good. No, once it go out your mouth, Satan already there. On what date? And then Satan is about to try Satan's hardest to get you to break it. You know what I'm saying? 2 weeks, new record. 2 years, so be it. The point is the breaking of the vow, which is sin. That which is gone out of thine lips, out of your own lips, thou shalt keep it and perform, even a free will offering according as thou hast vowed unto Yah, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. You know, there's a lot of people, you know, I've seen it several times, you know, women, a lot of women more so than men, you know, they'll be talking about church things, or I vow of celibacy, but I couldn't keep it. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because Satan gonna have Zorro and Rique Suave walk past you talking to you, and you like, man, forget this vow. You know what I'm saying? Y'all forgive me. You ain't reading the word right here because you made the free will offering. You could have put it on the time, say, well, for 3 months, I'm going to be celibate. You know what I'm saying? You know, just stick it out. But once you make that vow, that's that. When thou comest into thy neighbor's vineyard, then thou mayest eat grapes thy full at thine own pleasure, but thou shalt not put any in thy vessels. So meaning, like, you know,
you can eat them while you're going through, but you can't put them in a bag and carry them home.
And just like when somebody, you know what I'm saying, going, you know, you at somebody's house and you eating their food, you know what I'm saying, you know, okay, you fix you a sandwich and everything. You fix you some cornflakes, some, you know, okay. Don't go pick up, oh, hey man, I bought this. I bought a plate to take some home with me. Nah. You tripping, you know what I'm saying? You know, ain't no to-go plate, you know what I'm saying? Now, if they agree to the to-go plate, that's that. But don't be going there with the, I'm going to give me a to-go plate, I'm going to eat my food, because you're being greedy. You already ate. The scriptures say, eat until you're full, and then don't bring a basket with you to be like, yeah, because that's wrong. You know what I'm saying?
My brother Fabian won once.
What?
This is for Bobby right
So
here.
Bobby.
Oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Nah,
He
man.
couldn't make it to church.
You know, because that's not good.
I'm gonna take my husband to play home.
Yeah, I mean, like, man.
He watching the game, he couldn't make it.
Like, man, some people, you know, that, but that's why there's laws and statutes of how we should conduct ourselves with each other, because we don't want, because some people get mad, well, a lot of people get mad, I can't believe what they doing, because they might not say it at that moment, but after you leave, man, you seen the plate she made when she left, or he made, like, god dang, man, like, you know, I ain't calling them over again. You know what I'm saying? And what right there, you got some little bit of enmity between each other right now, because they looking at you greedy, man, this person greedy. So let everything, but if you did it by the law, statutes, and commandments, you wouldn't have that animosity right there. When thou comest into the standing corn of thy neighbors, then thou mayest pluck the ears with thine hand, but thou shalt not move a stick unto thy neighbor's standing corn. And 25:1, use a stick today. I don't know much about corn, so I don't understand the dynamics of that, but it's probably basically the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Now we're going to go to, let me see, a couple more. Matthew chapter 5. Because if we keep the laws, you know, it's not only keeping us good terms with the Most High through Christ, but it's also keeping us on good terms with our brothers and our sisters, because we're not going to overstep our boundaries with our brothers and our sisters, you know. Because the one thing the Most High do know is about rivalry and relationship issues, you know, what to do and what not to do. Again, we read this earlier today. It's going to be Matthew chapter 5, 17 to 20. This is Yahushua HaMashiach. Thou shalt not think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall not in no way wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Wherefore shall break, whosoever therefore shall break one of the least of these commandments, and shall teach man so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of Yah, of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. And if people don't believe that, Moses did not walk into the promised land. We will probably never be as meek as Moses. We will probably never be as righteous as Moses. Moses is up there. You know what I'm saying? Moses is up there. And then if he didn't go, you know, we too have to have our bar set at not our bar, but his bar. And he's saying, unless your righteousness exceed the scribes and Pharisees, you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven. A lot of people want to go to the kingdom of heaven, but a lot of people will never go above the scribes and Pharisees. And that is a free will choice. Again, you ain't got to love Yah. You can just like him. You know? Now we'll go to Matthew 23:23. Matthew 23:23. And, you know, again, anyone should take time, you know, your own self to read through the laws and statutes, commandments, you know, it's all throughout the Bible to keep it on your mind, refresh it. Matthew 23:23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. Now, the issues right here is not that the Pharisees and Sadducees are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. They're not keeping them in whole, and that is the problem here. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. This is Matthew 23:23. For ye pay tithes of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These are ye have done. So as you're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, let's never forget, because a lot of people be like, oh, Christ came to preach mercy and all this stuff, and he came not to preach the law, but forgiveness. That's the law. Forgiveness is in the law. Mercy is in the law. Loving your brother and your sister, that's in the law. That's nothing new that he's preaching. He just emphasized on something that was not being emphasized on, the greater matters. You know, we ain't got to beat people over the head with the law. We can show love and kindness while we're preaching the law, but the weightier matters is mercy, judgment, love, stuff like that. Now we'll go to Titus 2, 1 to 10. 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 Titus chapter 2, verse 1 to 10. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. Again, the reason why many people are going through turmoil in their life is not because Satan is, just don't like you. It's because you don't like the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why. And that's why Moses didn't say, I put before you life, death, and Satan this day. Moses said, I put before you life, which is the law, statutes, and commandments. I put before you death, disobeying the law, statutes, and commandments, and you have a free will choice. But if you're sinning, definitely Satan is going to be trying to keep you in that too. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged man be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith. A lot of older brothers and sisters, they're not sound in faith, because most brothers and sisters in the churches, they will tell you, you ain't got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Blood of Jesus. All you got to do is accept him as your Lord and Savior, and everything's going to be okay. Everything's not going to be okay. Sister, do you have high blood pressure? Yes. Brother, do you have diabetes? Type 2. Don't sound like everything's okay with you. You know what I'm saying? How's that SSI check? Oh, man, they cut my payments again. I'm just pointing you out to showing you that power don't lie. When you're in Yah will, power will manifest. When you're not in his will, his power of chastisement will manifest. The scriptures don't lie. You do his will, you will be blessed. You will have a blessed life. You will have a soul of peace. You will feel his comfort. For these people who are not keeping this law, statutes, and commandments, you have emptiness. You have doubt. You have frustration. It's not suffering for righteous sake. You're suffering as a sinner. That's a horrible place to be. You're suffering as a sinner. You're not suffering for righteous sake. The aged woman likewise, that they be, verse 2, but that the aged man be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. A lot of women in the churches, if you start talking about behavior, you can't tell me nothing. Who are you to tell me how to behave? You're not my father. Who are you? That's a red flag that there's a demon there. As soon as somebody talk about correcting behavior, you start the force of opposition comes up when I'm just telling you what the Most High does say. The Most High, that's a red flag that somebody don't want to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and somebody got a demon up there that's telling them who he think he is to tell you something. I'm just laying life and death before you. You got your choice. You and the demon can go on the dark path of death if you want to and have fun while you're at it. Your life. As becometh holiness. Holiness is not a joke. He said he wants holiness. He wants holiness. Not false accusers. Not given to much wine. Teachers of good things. When you laying your children down, you're not talking about Santa Claus is coming in the morning, what you want for Christmas. You're talking about the law, statutes, and commandments, how much the Most High loves you, how much the Most High wants you to reunite with you, to have a relationship with you. This is what you're teaching your children. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. You know, having little Suzanne, you talking to her about a Proverb 31 woman. You know, what you think after she hears these stories, what she gonna grow up to be most likely? Maybe a Proverb 31 woman who loves her wife, who got a good husband, who got a loving relationship and Yah's in it. You're setting her up to have not a painful life, but a blessed life. To be discreet. Ain't too many people pinching her on the butt, because you know why? She's wearing clothes becoming to holiness. Again, you know, I said this before. Most women who get sexual assault, they're wearing things that are invoking that lustful spirit. And what she got raped, not surprised. Some girl went to the club, got drunk, she had on a mini skirt, and she got drunk, and she had no underwear on, and she got raped. Not surprised. Suzanne wearing full clothing, not displaying herself out like that, she got raped. Surprise. You know? To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands. How many mother-in-laws and mothers who tell their daughters, you ain't gotta listen to him. Don't let no man tell you anything. You say no, that's what it is. You can always come stay here with me. You don't need him. Sound like a demon to me. But you have free will. You can do what you want to do. I'm just setting life and death before you. That the word of Yah be not blasphemed. Check that out. Obedient to their own husband, that the word of Yah be not blasphemed. Young man likewise exhort to be sober-minded in all things, showing thyself a pattern of good works. That's why the scriptures say, a good tree bears its fruits. So if a man come to you for your daughter and he has a path of good fruit, you're gonna be like, okay, you're more than likely inclined to say, I bless this marriage. But if he coming, you know, if he doing some wickedness, you like, you know. In all things, showing thyself a pattern of good works. In doctrine, if somebody's telling you not to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, you're opening up your life for a life of hell and torment. Because why? Your laws change by the day. You feel this way about something, you don't feel too much about this. You know, that's right. But the law, statutes, and commandments of life, you stick by it, you live. You don't stick by sound doctrine, you live a life of pain. In doctrine, showing uncorruptness, brevity, sincerity, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of contrary report may be ashamed. See why Satan always wants to get everything mingled together. You can have a homosexual in the church. Oh, that's just Leroy. He the lead magician. Don't bother him. And then talk about, you know, living a life of Christ. You know, Leroy, the homosexual, can come into the church, but Leroy can't be in a prominent position. Leroy should be there only to sit down, listen to the sound doctrine, and to be ministered to get that demon off of him. Leroy has no position in the church in no way. No way. Yeah, dang sure ain't about to be. Yeah, I done seen before. Boy, they be shaking, they be dancing. The spirit of that homosexual just be. I mean, oh man. And then all the church be like, you have free will. You can do your commandments, or you don't have to. You have free will. You can let Satan in, or you know, that's your choice. Sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of contrary report may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you. Exhort servants to be obedient unto their own masters, and to please them well in all things, not answering again, not prolonging, but showing all good fidelity, that they may adore the doctrine of Yah our Savior in all things. Okay, maybe two more. I'll cut it short. 1 Timothy chapter 2, 9 to 15. 1 Timothy. chapter 2, 9 to 15. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. I can read this scripture in most churches and Satan will manifest in that church. Most women in these churches dress like harlots. I mean, you would really have to be a man of Yah to not be caught up in that. I mean, jiggling, breasts out, butt out, tight. I mean, and some of them just straight up sluts in the church, open up their legs right in front of the pulpit. You got to be a strong man of Yah to rebuke that.
And sometimes you can't even turn away from it.
No, most times they're not, because their heart's not in Yah. Their hearts are in the flesh. And that,
I know, but but sitting there spraying you in the face.
I never understood that from this. Say, not even a Christian. You come to a place of worship, and yet why are you bringing sexy to a place of worship? That just never made no sense to me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Even from a common sense point of view. Yeah, you gotta come as you are, you know what I'm saying? But still have some common sense. You know? I always wonder why the pastors never touch on that. You know what I'm saying? If your skirt is above your knee, you have no business in church or in a place of worship. Period.
or at least,
You know, I never understand. That's the one thing every church and I've been to. I'm like, well, why are these pastors not touching on that right there?
Well, I'll tell you in a little bit.
I understand why, but it's like I ain't even talking like right here. I'm talking here.
Yeah, I told you they dress like harlots.
You know,
I wasn't playing. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Satan.
I not even understand. Not even the pastors. Why the women in the church they ain't pull them aside and say, "Hey,
who are you to tell them something? The laws is done away with. What law do you judge me by? The scripture says, "Judge not, lest you be judged." You need to go mind your own damn business.
No.
What you gonna say? Because you don't practice or preach the law, statutes, and commandments. The first thing Satan gonna tell you to shut up. You a sinner just like me. And what they gonna do? Turn around and walk away because they are under doctrine. I don't want to keep the law either. So as long as you don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, Satan will come in there and tell you that every time. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Have no understanding of what that scripture means. You go down to verse 5, it says, take out the beam of thy own eye, and then tell thy brother or thy sister, thou have a speck in thy own eye. If you're not right, you can't tell nobody nothing. And if the law, statutes, and commandments are not being preached in the churches, in these places, ain't nothing sacred here. This is a whorehouse. And whore's going to come. Whore's going to come to continue the affliction of sin. Because again, if you ain't got Yah in your heart and keep the law, statutes, and commandments, you are no match for a whore. She is highly equipped to destroy every advantage or every weapon that you think you have. You close your eyes, she gonna whisper in your ear. You close your ears and close your eyes, she gonna come by you with the smell of sweet fragrance. You about to fall because why? You don't preach the law, statutes, and commandments, and Satan knows that. So that's the answer to your question. Judge not lest you be judged, and a sinner don't want to be judged. So I'm going to shut my mouth up and be quiet. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly array. Well, you know, a lot of, especially Baptist church, Southern churches, you know what I'm saying, they put them hair hats, boy, them hats, boy, they be fancy, boy, I done seen some of the pictures, boy. They be on the modeling. They had a little hat, boy. The thing be decked out, man. Pearls on it, boy. Mother of the church sitting there. Yeah. Nobody telling her anything about modesty. And it's just not about women dressing like whores or anything. It's the flashiness of it. There's no meekness in their attire. It's very, you know, I'm gonna be getting in my Benz after this, and I'm about to go eat at a high priced restaurant, and you know, they're just basically flaunting themselves in a different way that's not becoming to holiness. So that is just not on the whore matters, because the main people in these churches are women who dress whorish and women who dress very boisterous. You know what I'm saying? That's not a humbling spirit. You don't come to the temple for a fashion show. It's not. You know, you're in trouble. Zion, the Most High is very upset at the people because they're not showing what? Humbleness. And dressing in this way. Yeah, her dress is down to her knees and whatnot, but the way that she's walking, she's talking very elitist, very stuck up. You know what I'm saying? You're just as worse as the whore. But which becometh women professing godliness with good works. Let the women learn in silence with all subjections. And people will say, that don't mean that. That don't mean that. That don't mean that. That's chauvinistic language. That's not the divine understanding of that. This verse clearly says women should be quiet in church. No matter how you want to turn around, and you got 2 women pastors down here, about 3-4 blocks away. One was anointed 3 times.
Yeah.
I ain't never heard of a woman being anointed, but 3 times? Like, I mean, good. And you know what?
Well, she was anointed a pastor and a bishop. Now she's a... No,
I read it said she was anointed 3 times. That's all it said. It didn't say she was, you know, every time.
Yeah, well.
She just got 3 anointings. Like, what? This don't mean she shouldn't even be anointed to do that, and she's not going to do that. So who has anointed you to do that? Because it wasn't the Most High.
That's why Dr. Friday left.
Well, you know, should never have been in the first place.
I know.
Should have never been in the first place. But
But he was not given the order, but he was told to go down there, and he was gonna get the church. But apparently she reneged on the thing, and he done been there for a while.
Don't matter. That church still in sin, even when they was in there. So as when sin is in the place,
but he's gone now.
Well, if the doctrine is still the same, you still.
Well, I'm saying.
I know you're going from that, but if the doctrine is still the same, that's still, you know, it's sin, because that's just one form of sin. Something else gonna come in. If it's not that, say, as long as you let sin in, Satan gonna come in cupcakes. You know what I'm saying? People got gluttony problems. You know, Satan gonna come in with cupcakes. People got problems with whores. People got problems with lying, with money. Any sin that you allow to be in the midst, that's how Satan come in. Even though it might be foolish, it's food. Satan gonna kill everybody with diabetes. You know what I'm saying? Let the women learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach. I suffer not a woman to teach. But this woman right here has been anointed 3 times, and she's the pastor of this church. And they would tell, and there's multiple scriptures about this, but they would say that don't mean that. A woman can. The scriptures just said clear, I suffer not a woman to teach, nor you usurp authority over a man. But if you're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, you can't tell this woman nothing.
And they don't want to hear it now.
And why? Why? Because the atmosphere, the environment is an unlawful atmosphere. It's a sinner's atmosphere. You can't correct a sinner in a sinner's atmosphere. You know? This is the atmosphere that you have allowed to grow, and now is out of control. You know? You went from smoking weed, now you're smoking crack. Because you opened the door to sin, and sin came in. Sin ain't coming in just to peep in for a moment. Sin is coming in to take root and get stronger and grow. And you're going to reap the fruits of sin. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was the transgressor. So how did sin come into the planet Earth? By the woman. And now you have a woman who's been anointed 3 times. I still can't get over this, man. 3 times, yo? One wasn't enough? Because a lot of times when women get in these positions, they wanna go overboard in titles and all this stuff over the man. Well, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and I have these degrees, and I've been anointed 3 times. I have the right to be over this church. You have not done what the anointing has been put on me, that I have been called. Hallelujah. Man, shut up. You're letting sin in the church, and that's how Satan, all Satan got to do is woo you with some words to shut you up. Because you don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. If you don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, you ain't got a leg to stand on. That's it. Don't you ever tell that woman she gotta be in subjection to a man. You're not in subjection. Well, when you start keeping the laws, I'll be quiet. You know what the men gonna do? They gonna shut up and sit down because they ain't trying to keep no law, statutes, and commandments. And they gonna be ruled by Satan for that. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved. She shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith, in charity, and holiness with sobriety. Okay, and I'll read. I'll end right now. Shall I go to the end on Romans? Beloved Paul. Everybody love Paul because it's, when they say they don't want, when they say they ain't keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, they run to Paul. That's their number one person. Say that you can sin. I'm gonna read Romans chapter 7, verse 7 to 12. Now this is Paul, because most people, when they tell you they can sin, they're going to run to Paul. That's the first place they're going to run to Paul because they don't understand what Paul's talking about. They don't understand who Paul is. Paul is a Hebrew Israelite who kept the law, statutes, and commandments. And this is the biggest confusion, that they see the writings of Paul when he was in contention. It was not over the law. It was over the Messiah. Hey, he came. Accept him. That's why they was trying to kill Paul, because he was preaching the doctrine of the Messiah, which is, hey, he's here. You can repent. He can forgive you your sins. That's what the contention was. It was not the law, statutes, and commandments. And when people speak about Paul, they talk about the contention and they mix that up with the law when it had nothing to do with the law. Is because he was showing Hebrew Israelites that, hey, the Messiah has come. And a lot of the Hebrew Israelites were like, that's not the Messiah. We not believing that. That's what the contention was. It wasn't the law, statutes, and commandments. What shall we say? Verse 7 to 12. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? Yah forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. But sin taketh occasion by the commandments. Wrought in me all of concupiscence, for without the law sin was dead. Meaning that I didn't know I was in such a bad state until I started reading. Dang. My wife over me. My children bad as hell. I'm eating pork, my high blood pressure, and then I'm realizing, man, I messed up, man. Like, what in the heck? You were in blindness because you refused and didn't know, maybe in ignorance of the law, statutes, and commandments, and now everything is coming to be. I see the issues now. For I was alive without the law once, but was that life good? My wife don't listen to me. I don't respect my wife. My children don't respect me. I have high blood pressure. I'm about to die any moment. For I was alive without the law once, but was that a good life? Was that a life of abundance? Was that a life of favor, of holiness? No, it wasn't. For I was alive without the law once, but when the commandments came, sin revived, and I died. And the commandment which was ordained to life. What was the commandments ordained to life? That's why Moses said, I said before you life and death. Choose you.
This day.
I find And the commandment which was ordained to life I find to be unto death. For sin taketh occasion by the commandments. What? So when sin is in the midst, and you saying keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and you don't do these things, or you're doing these things, you're going to find death. Because when you sin, that is death knocking at your door. Because the law is telling you if you do these things, you will die. For sin taking occasion by the commandments deceived me, and by it slew me. Wherefore the law is holy. Paul say what? The law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good. So I hope this stir up spirits and keep spirits in a state of not being on the easy street of saying I ain't got to rehearse the law, statutes, and commandments. I don't need to meditate on them. It's something that you should meditate and rehearse amongst yourselves, so you can be able to heal the sick and give wise words to the sick in spirit and flesh. So I pray that the word went out in truth and sincerity, and hallelujah.